Good day, folks. It's late June and it's a beautiful summer's day still. Still there's a few clouds knocking round and there's a bit of wind going to chase in a day or two. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to move on. Just look at that castle, Caernarfon Castle. Fantastic bit of kit. I've put the name of the river on the screen because it looks a bit difficult for me to say. But it's a little inlet that comes in around the back of the castle off the Menai Straits. Back in Dock Victoria, these guys from the Desailing Club let me know that their plans seem to be a bit scuppered by the weather. I'm going to set off because it's a southwesterly that wants to blow through to see if I can get to Conwy before the worst of it gets here. Because it's not rainy yet and the front hasn't hit and the wind's only picked up a little bit. And as it's going my way and the Menai Straits are quite protected, it's always a nice sail with the wind up the chuff. Passing Fellinelli, I see another Desailing Club boat that's obviously challenging the weather a little bit. I think they're getting ready to set off, so they're probably going in the same direction as me. I think possibly their boat is a Dockrell 22, although I've never seen one with that little window in between the other two windows, so I'm probably wrong. I believe their original plan was to sail round the island, but I didn't think anyone was going to attempt it. Well, if they're dropping their mooring now, it looks like they're going to be going the same way as me, rather than challenging the incoming tide. Yeah, I'm getting a wave. I'm saying hello. Hi, Sarah and Barry. Yep, it definitely looks like they're underway, and it definitely looks like they're turning around and going to be going the same way as me. Well, I'm a little bit premature for the swellies, but I always like to carry the tide out the other side. And it's looking like Sarah and Barry have got the same idea as me. You can see how quickly they're moving with just a tiny little bit of foresail up. That's the breeze and the current. Well, I've got my main tucked away, but I've got my genoa out. I like to hit the swellies about an hour early, so that I get about an hour of tide with me when I get to the other side. And sure enough, as I come approaching Bangor Pier, I've still got positive tide with me, still the flood pushing me along. I have a little bit of an attraction with these wooden type Victorian piers with the cast iron legs. It's pretty simple and it's not so silly. I'm not a Victorianist or anything like that about the furniture or anything. I just like the engineering of them. I like the way they were built, so perfectly straight, square and everything. And as you sail past the end of any of these Victorian piers, I like to look down them. And what you find when you look down them is that as you come to the end and you look down, it all squares up 100%. The whole length of the pier becomes absolutely perfectly matched. There's nothing in or out anywhere. It's like they had one great big long piece of string to set it by, and boy could they use that string. They made a marvellous job of these items. Just look at that come in as it comes in and goes out. You've got to give it to them, haven't you? Brilliant engineers of the time. Well, as we expected, the wind's picking up a little bit now. I'm getting a steady 18 to 20 knots, which under a full foresail shoves me along with quite a happy pace. Southwesterlies build in the straits when you get near Beaumaris to full strength. You see that little sail there in the distance? Well, that's Sarah and Barry still ploughing along, and just behind them there in the headland there's a tiny little boat, and I think that's one of the Desailing Club as well, but I didn't realise it was tagging along. Well, I think this is where we depart, because I'm going to plough across the banks here, and I'm sure they're actually going to go round towards Mulvra, which would be a sensible place in a strong southwesterly for them to drop their hooks for the night. And as you can see, there's plenty of wind and plenty of power out here now. Well, I think we'll just pop inside and see what the wind strength is. It feels like we're getting all our force 5 now, and maybe a tad more. Well, we got 20 knots just after the beam, so it's fairly accurate that, so it's definitely going to be around 20 knots. and it's pushing us at about 5 knots quite happily through the water, which I'm always happy when I'm getting me 5 knots. Did you notice I'm scooting across the banks and I've only got 4.2 metres underneath me? I'm brave, aren't I? No, plenty of tide and it's rising. Well, it don't take long for me to get back to Conwy, as you can imagine with this wind. Now, to be quite honest with you, I do love Swallow, but I've been thinking about changing it. I've been struggling with it this season. I'd just like an extra knot when I was sailing, really. 5 going places is okay, but I'd like to have 5.5 on a regular basis. Maybe even 6 if I could. And there's a reason behind it. There's something that annoys me and niggles me all the time. It's this at the front, these 2 nostrils here. The holes for a bow thruster. But you can see the surface at the back here. This surface at the back you shouldn't be able to see. And I reckon that it puts a lot of bad eddies down the hull. And it doesn't do the hull any good at going through the water when she's pushing hard. It's almost enough to make me want to sell her. But then I look at the rest of the hull underneath and I think she's got nice lines. She's a nice shape. So I blame this for everything. The fact that you can see these flat surfaces, these things from the front. And there is a lip stuck out just ahead of it there. But it doesn't cover them. And I think the lip probably just adds to the, I don't know, the drag. I'll let you know anyway. So till next time. Bon voyage!